In October 2002, an invisible phantom paralyzed the nerve center of the free world. For 3 agonizing weeks, the Washington, D.C. metro area was gripped by a raw, suffocating terror. Ordinary people were hunted down in broad daylight. They were ambushed while pumping gas, targeted in grocery store parking lots, and gunned down while simply mowing their lawns. The entity behind the scope left no warning, chose victims with absolutely no pattern, and vanished into thin air every single time. By the time the madness paused, 10 innocent people lay dead, and 3 more were fighting for their lives in critical condition. Law enforcement was completely blind. There were no credible eyewitness descriptions, no surveillance footage, and 0 confessions. But as the bodies mounted, forensic investigators realized the killer had left behind a single, microscopic signature. The ultimate breakthrough didn't come from a human mistake. It came from a bullet. To the naked eye, a bullet is just a piece of mangled lead. But to a forensic scientist, it is a master key. Every single gun barrel on Earth is manufactured with unique microscopic imperfections. The machining process leaves behind distinct, tiny ridges and grooves inside the steel. When a weapon is fired, the immense pressure forces the soft bullet down the barrel, scratching those exact imperfections onto the metal like a physical fingerprint. No 2 gun barrels in existence leave identical markings. Today, forensic examiners scan these markings into a massive national ATF database known as NIBIN. But in 2002, the technology was younger, requiring meticulous analysis. When ballistics experts lined up the slugs recovered from the DC victims, the data delivered a jarring shockwave. The exact same weapon had fired every single shot. More terrifyingly, the database revealed this weapon wasn't new. It was tied to entirely separate, unsolved shootings months earlier, thousands of miles away in Alabama and Louisiana. Ballistics instantly shattered the prevailing media narrative. This wasn't a localized lone wolf snapping under pressure. This was a highly mobile, cold-blooded sniper team moving systematically from state to state, deploying the exact same weapon with military precision. Science had proven a conspiracy existed long before detectives had a single name. Eventually, the physical weapon would be identified. A Bushmaster XM15 semi-automatic rifle, .223 caliber. Investigators traced its origin to a massive security failure. It had been shoplifted months prior from a gun store in Tacoma, Washington. But it was how the killers used it that baffled experts. They had completely modified the trunk of a heavy blue Chevrolet Caprice, transforming the vehicle into a rolling sniper nest. They could pull over, slide into the trunk, aim through a custom-cut hole, and fire lethal rounds without ever stepping outside the car. Despite the ballistic tracking, the rifle alone couldn't name the killers. It was a fingerprint that finally broke the wall of silence. Investigators re-examining the linked crime scene in Montgomery, Alabama, lifted a single clean print from a magazine page left near the site. Run through the national database, it triggered a definitive match: 17-year-old Lee Boyd Malvo. Because Malvo had been processed before in Washington state, his file contained the critical piece of the puzzle: the name of his legal guardian and adult partner, a former military man named John Allen Muhammad. Armed with 2 concrete names and a description of the blue Chevrolet Caprice, a massive federal dragnet was deployed. On October 24, 2002, a sharp-eyed truck driver noticed the suspicious vehicle sitting at a rest stop off Interstate 70 in Myersville, Maryland. SWAT teams converged under the cover of darkness. Inside the vehicle, they found Muhammad and Malvo fast asleep. Sitting easily within their reach was the stolen Bushmaster rifle. The suspects were in custody, but the prosecution needed an airtight conviction. Lab technicians test-fired the recovered Bushmaster into a water retrieval tank to preserve the pristine markings of the barrel. When placed under a comparison microscope against the bullets pulled from the victims, the result was absolute. The barrel imperfections lined up perfectly. The weapon matched. The reign of terror was officially over. The DC sniper case remains one of the most definitive triumphs in the history of forensic science. Ballistics didn't track down the suspects' names, but it did something far more crucial. It provided an unshakable baseline of physical truth. At a moment when task forces were chasing ghosts and assuming the crimes were entirely unrelated, ballistics proved the pattern existed. It forced separate police departments to share data, ultimately allowing a single fingerprint in Alabama to unlock the identities behind a multi-state killing spree. Without the unyielding science of ballistic fingerprinting, the Phantom killers might have slipped through the dragnet entirely. It is proof that a weapon always carries the hidden story of its past. If you love deep, scientifically accurate breakdowns of historic true crime cases, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. What part of this forensic investigation surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we will see you in the next breakdown.